welcome to MS4, and today it's a languid Sunday, easy like Sunday morning, whatever, what have you, but I want to practice my Lunar New Year look. I've been really excited about picking up a couple of the Lunar New Year items. Every year I kind of pick up something, but this year I got a couple of items, so I'd like to share that with you and practice. Practice when the stakes are low, and if I need to, I can wipe it off. So anyway, I already put on the Dr. Jart BB. It has sunscreen, mixed sunscreen, and I'm just going to powder it a little bit, but I thought I would wait to powder it till we were on camera because last year I picked up this from Charlotte Tilbury. Basically it's the refillable Flawless powder. I'm trying to get it open right now. There we go. Just the regular one, but it's in the Lunar New Year packaging, and I really loved that. I felt like that was just a really pretty pattern that they had chosen last year. This year, Charlotte really didn't come out with specifically Lunar New Year. She came out with a Queen of Luck quad, but it doesn't really have any special packaging, so I just wasn't really so much interested in that. So I'm just adding some powder. The Dr. Jart is in the light shade. Doing my eyes just a little bit. I have a lot of eye cream on today because I've been having a little bit of puffiness. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so that's the first selection in my Lunar New Year. It's not Lunar New Year, but this is new to me. I did pick up the Smashbox Halo. This is in the Back to Cali, which has C-Pop, Cheers Babe, Rose Gold, and Beach Day. One of my favorite palettes, face palettes, is the Smashbox. And it's the Cali Contour palette, which I love. So I thought I would try this. I'm just going to be using the bronzer out of this today. A little bit of bronzing. This and the pink one, seemed like they could be colors that I could totally do, but I decided to go for this one. I don't need a lot of face palettes at this point in my life, but I did, because I like the Cali Contour so much, I thought I would give this a shot. So we're just going to use the bronzer out of it today because I have a blush and a highlighter I would like to use. One of the people I watch, I can't remember her name, if I can remember it I'll link it below, had described this packaging as being like deep dish pizza, because it's got this, the packaging has this lip that's a little bit harder to get into, which I'm not sure why they did that. I don't really understand, but it's kind of cute packaging. There you go. Now, the next thing I picked up was a blush. And this is the Laura Mercier. So all of her Lunar New Year items had this great packaging to it. But besides, it had a loose powder was one of the ones, and it had a red packaging like this color around the top of it, so you could know. But like she had two of the mini caviar sticks, and the sticks themselves didn't have any packaging, but the outer carton packaging did. So if you wanted to keep the packaging, you would have to keep the outward packaging for those sticks. But this one has its own packaging, although I am going to keep the outer packaging because I really love the way these look. But the mini sticks, if you were going to be gifting for Lunar New Year, because the outer packaging is so cute, you could totally do that. But this is the embossing in the pan, and this shade is Ginger. Now this is a shade I already have, really love, but with the embossing and the packaging, I really love that. I think I will pass along because the other Laura Mercier packaging is just black with white writing, which is not very sexy. So anyway, so there's that. So I'm going to apply Ginger. Ginger's a lovely shade. I hate to work on the embossing, but it's something to be used. because I don't want to have a whole bunch of products sitting around that I'm just loving the embossing so much I never use it, because I'd like to be using all of my collection. But anyway, this is just a very easy to wear powder. Goes on super easy. Doesn't take a lot of dipping back and back and back to the pan. But it doesn't, the color situation is so nice and the formulation is so nice that it doesn't really ask a lot of you. I feel like that's anymore. I just like, is it easy? Okay, we're going. So anyway, I just thought that was really pretty, and I was so glad. I picked it up from the Laura Mercier website, and I believe they are all sold out, unfortunately. This I didn't see going to Sephora. I haven't checked back at Ulta to see if it went to Ulta. But anyway, I did purchase this off the site, and it is sold out. I am sorry. This time of the year, I like to make sure that I'm keeping up with who's coming out with what, so I can figure out what do I want to pick up for that. But anyway, that's the Laura Mercier in Ginger. Now, technically, with my eyeshadow palette, there is, I picked up a quad, and you're going to see that in just a minute. But there is an eyeshadow in there that I could use for a highlighter, but I want to go back. This is the One Size Fantasia highlighter, and I don't normally like sparklies in my products like that, in my highlighter. This has the, where you can see the faces, and if you look in the lid, anyway, blah blah blah. But I picked this up. This definitely has sparkles in it, but it's kind of a beigey color, and I don't know, it's so bright outside. It's beautifully and sunny. Like yesterday was like 70 some here in Southern California. But anyway, this has kind of just, it looks really pretty on the face. It's like a cascade of lights, and I like it. So if I'm going to be sparkly, this is how I would like to be sparkly. So anyway, whoops, that's my wrong item. We're just gonna use this because I don't see where I put my highlighter brush. We'll just be judicious, maybe. Maybe. Okay. So I'm going to just cascade that. Has a tiny bit of base, so if you're super fair, this one can always work. But you can just pick whatever highlighter you've got that makes you feel festive and go for it. Okay. So for this, I'm liking a little sparkle. And I could go back in with the blush if I wanted to. But let me show you. So this is the Pat McGrath Lunar New Year quad. Now, a lot of people were grousing because the colors in it in this quad are not new. But the packaging, I love this. A, very festive, and B, when you get to it, it's in the gold packaging. So this is the heavyweight, the same as the black heavyweight, not the plastic feeling, the lighter ones, like the pink packaging, but it's gold. And if I'm going to have something ostentatious and whatever, I would prefer the gold. So this is the quad. So you've got, let me see if I can do just swatches on that one. It's a very nice formula. Okay. And so depending on your skin tone, technically you could use one of those if you wanted kind of a highlighter. If you wanted to highlight through a little bit of the brow bone and then down there. But anyway, so it's nice. Maybe it's not the most exciting, but it's really going to give us this great kind of a sparkly look that we're looking for. So that being said, here we go. So I'm going to use a little fluffy brush and go in. This is our deepest matte color, so I'm just going to try and be gentle with it because we're going to actually do a little bit of lining here in a second. So using my little fluffy brush. Now with this palette, it might be interesting to think about, do I want it to be more in that beigey tone, more in the champagne tone, or more in the little bit of a like a rose gold when I'm doing this, like which, because I think whenever you're presented with a quad, like it's really super easy to just go, I'm going to use all of them. And then you might have kind of a meandering color story. Not that you can't do it, you can. But I want to keep it really simplistic in some ways for this, because it's the lip is going to be the main focus for this look. So I'm gonna use this color across my lid for the most part. So we're just using these two, this one and this one. So I grab this is out of my Sigma Beauty and the Beast collection set. It's just like a packer, kind of a brush. Now this is going to be a lighter presentation of it. I could use my finger to have more of that. Or if you don't like to use your fingers, you can use one of the sponge tip applicators like they put in the fancy quads. But you can get those individual sponge tips from Ulta. You can get a package of those to use. Okay. Now I might come back and fuss with this a little bit, but for right now, that's where we're going to. What I want to do is take, and I'm going to be doing a wing. So what I want to do with my darker shade, I'm going to use this also came with the Beauty and the Beast, this is the liner brush. I'm going to be taking, it's not a super dark shade, but we're going to be going under the eyes, and then we're going to be building where I want to do my liquid liner. So I have like a template. Again, low stakes, because I can fix it if I need to. But I'm gonna go under my eyes first. Okay, and see that goes on really easy with that. So I'm gonna figure out, when you're making a line, if you go straight out, that's one look. If you go up, or if you go try and follow the curve from your lower lash up, especially if you're wearing false lashes for your party look, that can be really pretty. So what I'm going to do is take right here, this is the end of my eye, and I'm going to come up, and I'm going to be going towards the end of my eyebrow, and then I'm going to go across the lash line just a little bit, because I'm going to be following some of that line. So it's like, as a geek out of water, as Shelley likes to say, it's a 7, not a V. So you're looking at kind of that. So you're going to be following that line. So coming to the other side, underneath the eye. Coming up and trying to make that line right towards the end of the eyebrow, and then make the other side the opposite, the backwards 7, not a V. But again, if you want to do the V where your line is coming straight down this way or off the lash, or if you want to actually make it go down, you'd follow the upper lash downward towards like your ear, to the bottom of your ear, sort of. Don't go all the way down, that would be, well, that'd be look. But anyway, depending on what your eye shape is and what you're going for, but I'm trying to lift things this way. So I'm going to put this down for a moment. I might need to fill in just a little bit more. But I'm going to be using a Sigma liquid liner for that. So since we have a template now, and it's all low stakes, I could kind of buff that out if I needed to. Or if you want to put like a eyeshadow guard up and put it where it's making that line for you, that also works if you're afraid. And again, we're practicing today because we want to make sure that when it's our evening out, that we have everything how we want it, and it's going to be super, well, maybe not unstressful, less stressful. So anyway, I'm going to start along the lash line with this. Now, if you really wanted to go dramatic, you could go all the way into, people have been playing with different like cats and dogs and bunnies and whatever, I don't know, not bunnies, but for their eye looks lately. And you don't necessarily have to do this all in one sweep, especially if you have unsteady hands. Okay, so I'm going here, and I'm going to just take a tiny bit of this and go up. And then I'm going to meet that. I'll make it a little thicker. But that's one thing that we don't necessarily think a lot about until we have the issue of hands that go squiggly. I did report earlier on the idea that L'Oreal is coming out with both something for applying lipstick and liner for people who have like Parkinson's issues. Because it's not just feeding yourself and signing checks, it's important. Applying makeup can make you feel really good. So while we're waiting for that kind of technology, you know, we can do this. I do not have Parkinson's, but with the MS occasionally, I'm a little wonky. Okay, so then I'm coming down at the bottom here, going up a little bit at the very end, and then following that line that I made, and then filling it. The other thing is, if you can see, I'm resting my finger on my face while I do this. That's one of the things that I picked up. Like if I'm having to do my makeup in a jostling sort of situation, like, oh, say for instance, on public transit, I'm less likely to bobble if I've got something to rest against it. So I have that as kind of a backup. Okay, so we've got that. I'm gonna bring this out just a little more. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. So that's what we're trying to get my, there we go. Want to make sure I click that tight. Okay. Now probably what I will do now is take a little bit of the eyeshadow again. And this time I'm just going to use my pinky for that. Okay, and I'm going to just tap along here, kind of to soften that, and then go more into the tear duct area. But I'm trying not to get too much on my line there. Okay. And then if I wanted to go back and take on the liner brush again and just brush a little bit more of that color surrounding that, if I wanted to have it be a little softer look towards the bottom into the... Okay, so there we have that. Very exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna do quick mascara. If I can find my mascara. I started a whole new tube, so this is one of those things that of course it runs away. It's actually right where I left it. Okay, I'm gonna add mascara and then we're gonna do lips. So for lips, last year I had gotten, the Charlotte Tilbury had, in the last 2 years, had Lunar New Year packaging for the lipsticks. Last year I picked up the Only Muse, which is kind of more of an orangey red, and it's in that beautiful packaging that the Airbrush Flawless filter powder is in, which I love. But this year Charlotte, for Valentine's Day, was doing the kissing formula for the pinks in the pink packaging, and then the Matte Revolution formula in the reds that she was coming out for Valentine's Day. And so I picked up a couple of colors of each type, two pinks and 2 reds and 1 liner, which you'll probably be seeing. If I can get another day of shooting, I will do just a dedicated video to the lips. But I picked up the Queen in the liner, which they already have a lipstick of the Queen, but I don't really have, I have kind of a lipstick that, well, it's not a lipstick, it's more of a lip liner also that might look like that, but maybe not. It's fairly unique sort of a color to my formula, a unique color to that formula. But today for the liner lips, this is the 1 size and it's out of line, so I'm just gonna gently do a liner because I don't want to impart a lot of color, but I kind of want to give myself a little bit of a guide because it's red. So we're going to do Pizzazz today. I got Mark of a Kiss, Pizzazz, 90s Pink, and oh, I don't remember what the other pink one I got was, but anyway, we'll show you later. So anyway, that's just a very light lining of out of line by 1 size. The color's out of line. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury red packaging this year. And it was really helpful to see some people's videos. I knew I was gonna like Pizzazz, but I wasn't sure about any of the other ones because frankly, the swatches kind of look the same. But when people started putting it on their lips, then it was like, oh, okay, I see that looks a lot the same in a swatch, but it looks different depending on color of the face. So anyway, this is Pizzazz. And so I'm gonna apply that. So I'm not gonna talk because it's red. Okay, wish me luck. Anyway, the bullet, as you can see, is the same with the Matte Revolutions. Light vanilla smell. That was between scent and smell. Smelt. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I like it. The idea behind the shape of the bullet is that theoretically, if you needed to, you could turn it and use it more liner-like, but I never do that. I don't know why. I don't know why, but anyway, this is Pizzazz. Okay, I'm gonna put on my glasses and then we'll do just a final check-in. So this has been kind of exciting for me, just getting to play. I'm gonna do my taxes now. So, you know, it's good that I'm feeling festive. So I feel like this is nice. Would I play more with the sparkle? Would I play more with the blush? Maybe a little more blush. But not bad, not bad. So we're all ready to be festive. It's always a good thing to play in things that just to make it a lower stress getting ready when it's time, because you really want to be able to enjoy events for what they are. And And this is something you could blot down the lip a little bit if you were worried about it traveling. Take it with you, that way you can reapply, but just to give it a little more of a safe, safe something for your party time. But I think this way, if I mess up, you know, and I can practice as much as I want so that it's fast, easy, and it feels good when it's time to go. So not too bad for a first foray into the Lunar New Year look. So anyway, hope you have something that you're looking forward to. Hope you are going to be festive, and just all the luck and wonderfulness for your Lunar New Year. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.